Hello everyone, this is Maria. Today I would like to show you an interactive poster that I would use to teach 5th graders about Earth systems. Earth's 4 major systems are the atmosphere, the geosphere, the hydrosphere, and the biosphere. According to the Next Generation Science Standards, 5th graders are expected to demonstrate an understanding of each system and explain how at least 2 of these systems interact with each other. My objective for this lesson will be to provide students with the content necessary for them to identify each system in a practical way as they can be seen in daily life. In this context, students would learn what these systems look like while learning the technical vocabulary, which will in turn allow them to identify how all of these systems interact in almost any setting. In my poster, I have provided students with information about each system, and in order to make the content accessible for English language learners and students with learning disabilities, I have provided illustrations of each system, which will reinforce all of the concepts. The poster is dynamic in that each system is explained and illustrated, which could take up to an entire unit, and students are required to place illustrations under the appropriate labels. For instance, this here is the atmosphere. Here is the information that the student would need in order to identify the atmosphere. It is a mixture of gases. So you have, I would provide them with the illustrations that they would place under the appropriate heading. So that's the atmosphere. This is the geosphere, which is the solid part of the Earth from the core to the surface. So it provides students with illustrations, and they would place them where appropriate. This here shows the hydrosphere, which contains all of the water found in our planet. The hydrosphere also includes all the water trapped in the soil and underground water, and the water found in the atmosphere includes water vapor as well. Part of the hydrosphere is the cryosphere, which is part of the Earth's surface, which is the part of the Earth's water that is frozen. So I would ask students to place the illustration where appropriate. As you can see, there is a large iceberg there. Here is the biosphere. The biosphere is the life zone of the Earth and includes all of the living organisms, including humans, as you can see in the illustration. Finally, I would focus on how do these systems interact towards once all of the spheres have been explored and illustrated and students have become able to identify them. And I would focus on helping students identify how these systems interact. For instance, an earthquake, it can damage the buildings where people live, which are the biosphere. The earthquake takes place in the geosphere, and so you can see how the systems interact. In this simple illustration here, you can see the biosphere, the polar bear, the hydrosphere, which is the water, and the geosphere, which are these rocks. In addition, the atmosphere is the air that surrounds us. In this other illustration, you can see the hydrosphere, which is the ocean, large rock formations, which are the geosphere, and there is a person there, which is part of the biosphere. I have also found all of these other system interactions here, such as a volcano, which is part of the geosphere. When it erupts, it sends ashes and gases into the air, which is the atmosphere, which sends lava and ashes down to the forest, which is the biosphere, and where people live. In here, I have also shown another interaction about hurricanes, and which take place in the atmosphere. They sweep across the ocean, which is the hydrosphere, and onto the land, which is the geosphere, and it affects human life in general, which is part of the biosphere. As a possible extension to my lesson, I would have students research examples of how Earth systems interact, and I would have them explain their answers. As you can see, this is interdisciplinary English language arts. Students could also be individually assessed. I would have them focus on this assessment sheet. This is finished, as you can see, but I would have students label all of the systems that they can identify, and I would use this illustration as support for them to see what each system looks like. A possible extension of this would be to have students form small groups where they can develop simple models that show how these Earth systems interact. And that's it. Thank you.